Yeah. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. Look, crazy 8th grade nerdcore rap guy. Got into a dual fade and I just pulled a trap card. Third-rate rappers with a fourth-rate catalog. Destined for the shadow realm, y'all should never act hard. Flow is so insidious that I need an apprentice type. Master with the force, peep the context in my sentence, right? Phantom like to sit this, just don't ask me what my pen is like. They know that I'm the menace, who you kidding? Bitch, I'm Dennis Line. Straight to job, hide-headed, rhymes is surely cold. Tested, you can never twist my metal like the jury goes. I ain't never mad when I push it to the max. I got Chris riding with me, about to turn this bitch to Fury Road. Since animated, I'm the one that crew congratulated. When it's will provide protective cover like it's laminated. Damn, I made this 16 like a guillotine. It's fascinating. If you think that you're ahead, you get decapitated. All that aside, I ain't merely here to rap words. I'm here to tell you who representing for the black nerds. And to remind you, neither one of these are bad words. Biggest living mirrors, they just choose to see it backward. Who be the leaders of discussion when a topic trends? Dissections got the culture under microscopic lens. Who got the type that you can miss it from the start and make you feel like an expert on the subject by the time it ends? Check the stat, Louis, viewership is mad nice. All these other shows don't seem to cut it, that's a bad slice. Off the books with unscripted jokes you can't write. No vampires, but these interviews don't end right. Yeah, this is the best part. Rhymes on Mandalorian, independence made the best score. Starting a war with these stars, you won't get far. This is the way you play a game of life for Death Star. So far removed from the drama, we don't notice how. But won't hesitate to shed a light like a Patronus charm. When mission managed, troubles at a disadvantage. Must be something in the water, dip your toe because you know it's warm. Where can you find another show with such a fine cast? And if you try to box them in, they playing Minecraft. And basically to sum it up like you define math, this crew's the best and it figures like a line graph. I'm Mary band like the words I do. Level-headed, you don't have to have absurd IQs. They know you can't relate because they're nerds like you. With their help, you'll see the world from a bird's eye view. Yeah. You are now tuned in to Blerd's Eye View. And without further ado, we out. Yeah.
Hey everybody, it is your man on the wall captain of the ship, Chris Fury, back again with another episode of Blerd's Eye View. Yes, it is Thursday. It is the end of the week. Yes, I have a head cold, but I'm powering through it. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm not resting, but I get to rest tomorrow. So thank you very much for asking. If this is your first time here, thank you for tuning in. We are live Tuesdays and Thursdays most of the time. You can also catch past episodes on Always Press Record TV through Roku or Amazon Fire devices. And be sure to check us out on the YouTube channel. Hit those like, subscribe, and notification bells, all that great stuff, so we can keep the ship afloat and floating and bringing you great content and all that great stuff. This is a safe space for a lot of us here. So let's keep that in mind and let's be respectful of each other's spaces because we don't play that here. So without further ado, my man Navy Montel's in the building. What's going on, Navy?
What's going on, brother? I hope you're feeling a little bit better.
Ginger tea.
Good man. Good man. Now, I don't have the ginger tea, but I do have the Wild Bills. So,
you know what?
Found this at Dollar Tree for $1.25.
Speaking of Wild Bills, for those who go to conventions, okay, there is a certain vendor by the name of Wild Bills who sells root beer and these really cool mugs. Now, this past weekend, we were out of town for a family function. We had my wife had a death in the family, and we were staying at a hotel. What I did not know was the hotel was right around the corner from the convention center, and at that convention center was an anime convention going on. So I was like, well, this is new. I had no time to go to this thing at all. So I looked it up and I said, oh, okay, SabusaCon is the name of this con. I think it's his 4th year in West Virginia.
What's it called?
SabusaCon, I want to say.
Sabusa or Sabu? Is it
It's a T.
Tsabasa?
Yeah, it's a T. Yeah, it's a T.
Yeah, Sabusa. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Sabusa or Sabusa, depending on how you. Or
Yeah.
Subasa Khan.
Tsubasa, yeah. And so I looked up to see what vendors were there. I didn't recognize a lot of them, but I did recognize Wild Bills and I did recognize DX Sabers. And I'm like, if I had time, I would have went in there to get some accessories for my lightsaber from DX Sabers because that's where I got my saber from. So, but that was a pleasant surprise. I said, man, if I had like extra time, I would have just jumped in for like on one day, did my walk around and jumped out.
It's something about Wild Bills. It's a staple at cons now. And I can confirm this. We will have Wild Bills at BlerdCon.
Yeah.
I can say that much.
I'm gonna get my mug.
I don't know if y'all are out there, you understand the excitement that this man and I are exhibiting. Wild Bills is one of those staples because when you go to the vendors, especially the food vendors, and you get a simple soda that runs you $4 or $5 a pop every time, if you're lucky. Wild Bills has a system where if you've already bought a cup from them, you pay an extra $5, maybe $10, and you can refill the entire weekend. The entire weekend. They put a little lanyard on your cup. You go, here you go. Okay. And you ice, fill it up, keep it moving.
I love it.
No one else does that.
Mal's in the building. What's going on, Mal?
What up, sir?
Je suis Tigler.
We can't do it like Lady Mandela.
Mon ami.
Bonsoir, mon ami.
Bonsoir, mon ami. Thank you, Mal, for the donation. Thank you. Yes, I'm pushing through. Thank you. Bama's in the building. Yeah, Je suis Tigler. Yes, it's actually ginger turmeric. So yes.
Okay. We do listen to our audience, you know.
It actually has turmeric in it. So I said, head cold called me early this year. So
I'm so glad I never had one of those before, but I have heard some disastrous things.
When you are a practicing voice actor, it's hell.
When you're an up and coming voice actor, I can imagine. See, I'm stupid like that. I'll take any adversity to my voice and I will still somehow make it an advantage because now I want to see what I can do with it now that my voice has gotten weird.
Here's the thing. People say, oh, take some NyQuil. Here's the thing about me and NyQuil. We don't have a very good relationship. Apparently, I have an allergic reaction.
Oh, no.
To NyQuil. But here's the allergic reaction I have. Everybody's used to the deep, sultry voice. NyQuil makes me sound like Mickey Mouse. Trial and error. Trust me, I know.
Oh my gosh. I can imagine you doing an intro for the show. And it's like, oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to Blerd's Eyeview.
I had this happened a couple years ago and I noticed it and I took it and I'm like, yeah, is my voice going? And then when I'm pushing through it, why do I sound like this? And I'm like, what?
I shouldn't have been drinking anything when you did that. Yeah.
The look my wife has, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, it's like that episode is like the movie Roger Rabbit. And I would turn around and I have a voice just like this. And I'm like, no, it's not a pretty sight. It's at all.
Now I will add to that because when I get sick, my voice drops 3 octaves.
Oh, you turn into Barry White.
Yeah, I turn into Barry White. Someone says, hey, Monta.
Hey, what's going on?
Who the hell is this?
I won't be coming to work today.
Not like talking like that.
Sorry.
It does help that while at work today, because it was CSP week and they're celebrating all the techs in the hospital. They've been feeding this crap out of everybody. They brought in these great brownies. I've seen some of the girls getting brownies, so I go in straight. I got a mask on. I go straight. Go ahead and get you one of them brownies. Rich, decadent, luscious chocolate. And everybody was like, "What's the narrator in here?" And I'm like, it worked.
It does tend to work. I feel that.
It was like my dude said, "Hey, he does do a little bit of outside, so there it is."
I love chocolate, but chocolate is like my favorite op because milk chocolate puts me to sleep. It makes me drowsy and knocks me out, literally.
Like a baby.
Yo, dark chocolate doesn't do it. I don't touch white chocolate. That's just pure sugar right there. But milk chocolate, forget it.
That's the tits right there. Dark chocolate, that's my jam.
Man, what? 70%? Let's go.
That is my jam.
With the salted caramel on the inside. Oh.
So, Peep, we have a guest in the building. This brother is working on a little bit of everything.
Let's go.
But if you remember Malachi Bailey, he has her, and that's over at Wingless Comics. Mm-hmm. If you recognize Justice, that's at Wingless Comics. Mm-hmm. If you recognize Immortals, that's at Wingless Comics. Mm-hmm. And up and coming Air Force Ones, which is also turning into an animation.
So dope.
For Blerd Station, also from Wingless Comics. This man is literally hands-on in the indie comics industry. Brian J. Lambert is in the building. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, sir. I'd give a standing ovation, but I think this is good because otherwise you just see nothing but shirt. So, hey.
There we go. That part.
Okay. I got the Wild Bills. Okay, this is the antidote right here. This is the Wild Bills, y'all. I got the antidote and the cheeses. I got cheeses here. Okay. Yes, sir. How you doing this evening, man? Oh, you're muted. Take off your mute. For some reason, it says you're muted.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Have I been talking this whole time? I said a bunch of cool stuff too.
Well, you have to repeat it now.
Yeah, just repeat it. Yeah.
I made a joke about you and chocolate and falling asleep. I said the world notwithstanding that we're good. You know what I mean? Again, no. Thank you guys for having me. I'm just really happy to be here. I appreciate you guys. It's just been really, really awesome. Just even getting this opportunity to talk to you guys and to be on, Blerd's Eyeview podcast and just politic with everybody. So I appreciate it. Just out the gate, I appreciate it.
Look, it's great having you on because first off, as you know, we're over at Blerd Station as well. And seeing Air Force Ones, when we seen that trailer and the way Hellspawn he said there's no other way to say but black people in Gundams. And selling point. That's the selling point.
Yeah, man, I've been working on it for a while, honestly, and it's for us older anime lovers and anime heads, right? Like it's a love letter to Robotech and to the original Gundam and all of that stuff.
Macross
because yeah, right. So we didn't even back then, like you had Bowie Grant and you had like the Grant family, right? But those are like the only black people you saw really in any of that stuff, and they weren't main characters. Claudia didn't get to fly nothing. I love Claudia, but you know what I mean? Like we were always like also rans, right? And so I always wanted to do that. And honestly, man, the idea came to me in the middle of the night one night. Most of the time, if you like me, you get an idea in the middle of the night, you don't write it down, you don't tell nobody, and you forget it in the morning. This one stuck with me, right? All I had was the title. I was like, I had hit up a friend of mine when I woke up and I was like, Air Force Ones. I was like, but they're pilots. And they looked at me like I was a fool. And I was like, man, trust me, like just trust me.
Trust the process.
Right. And yeah. So it came together like that. Again, I started with started taking, when I had the real idea, I started taking Gundam pictures, right? Like Gundam posters. And I was trying to put my lettering and stuff on there, like to really like matriculate the vision. Like, hey, it's gonna be this big, but this is where we're starting and getting the logo and just getting the look right. And then just creating that intersection and that cross section of like shoe culture, popular culture, Gundam culture, like all these things that I feel like in our community have been married for a long time, and just bringing that into like a bigger form. That was really really what I wanted to do. And like I said, it's a love story and it's a love letter to the things I grew up on. I wanted to be a Gundam pilot, you know what I mean? And so I want to be able to show that, you know.
Yeah,
Still do.
right.
Right.
I think the
Look, I'm
obvious.
real disappointed in the Space Force, bro. I thought I was like, oh, we're gonna get some Gundams, and then look what we got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
National
yeah.
Network
Look at
comedy.
what we got. Okay,
Whole
my
comedy
head
there.
hurt. Oh my lord, my head hurt. So I
Yeah.
gotta ask you, when you said it was a love letter to, especially all the mech anime that we came up with, like Gundam, Macross, was it Venus Wars? Oh my goodness, the list goes on and on and on. So was there a particular property that just said this is the main song in that love letter to what I'm
Uh,
creating?
for me, it would honestly have to be Robotech. And that's because that was the very first one I ever
Okay.
saw, right? So I can remember I think I was like 3 years old when it was actually airing on TV, before we had to get it on DVDs and everything else. And so I remember very vividly watching the episode or the after effects of the episode where Roy Fokker dies,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I had never before and since really I had never seen that on like American TV like that. You don't see cartoons didn't have deaths. And Roy,
Not
Roy Roy
American
was big
cartoons
dead.
anyway.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that one was a thing, and I always had this dream, I guess, of if I could do anything I wanted tomorrow, I would do a 4-part movie series of the Robotech, the Macross saga. And it would be this big Baz Luhrmann type production with those angles and that kind of artistry and musicality and all of that stuff, right? Because it's a
Mhm.
space opera. And so I wanted to do something that was reminiscent of that, but very, very much grounded in who I am and my ideas and thoughts. And again, my cultural ideas and thoughts. As the series progresses, you're going to see how very much of a LA story this is, of a California story this is.
Mm.
As
Mhm.
the story progresses, we're in the seventh ward now. That's like the big main place we are. They're going to go to other wards, and third ward folks. Hey, we don't mess with seven ward, blah blah blah. So it's very very tribal, very for lack of better words, gang culture oriented, but not
Okay.
in the pejorative way, right? There is a lot of social black culture that's interconnected with what's contemporarily called gang culture or California. You know what I mean? Like all those little
Mm-hmm.
Right.
nuances. Whereas we understand that a certain way. We know where to go, who to talk to, how to phrase things and everything, and not
Yeah.
be affiliated at all. But we can still move in those circles and move around those circles, and they move around us. Other people have not been exposed to that, and they have no idea. It's gang culture bad, red rag bad, no matter what's going on, and that's not necessarily the case, right? There
Right.
are all these nuances about our culture in general that I like infusing into the stories that I'm writing, and I think that a Gundam style mech anime and manga is the perfect way to show that tribalism and to show that fight for freedom.
So I noticed that in your background and on your shirt
Yes, yes, sir.
are several of the mechs that are going to be in Air Force Ones.
Yes. So in volume one, all the mechs that you see here are actually these are our four. I think you can see all four of them. These are our four main mechs here. The Gilgamesh, the Yasuke, the Ogun, and the Kitsune. I have the Kitsune on my shirt here. Real men wear pink, as my boy Cameron used to say. Um,
I want that
uh,
shirt too.
oh man, it's gonna be on the website real soon, right?
Good.
My wife is the genius behind this one. I had this poster a friend did for me, and I just had it and I was gonna sell it as a print, and she was like, if you don't get me a shirt so I can wear that. And I was like, oh, if you don't, okay. So I listened to her, I
Uh-huh.
defer to her a
You
little
had
bit,
no
to know
choice,
what she's
man.
talking
You
about.
had no
Right.
choice.
Right, and it came out dope. You know what I mean? So actually, this was supposed to be her shirt. Actually, this is the one I ordered for her, and then it came out the package, and I was like, "Oh, oops! I bought it too big for you, baby. Ha 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 ha! I gotta wear it." You know what I'm saying? So
Oh no.
yeah.
You can't wear this. This is not flattering on the
Right,
That
weekend.
right. Like,
side eye
oh,
was
you know,
Don't
like
probably
do that.
legendary. Just look at you like nigga.
right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think there's a part of it always be branding, you know, is that's what they say. But at the same time, man, I honestly enjoy this so damn much that I want to wear it, right? Like I want to wear these shirts out. I love the characters, I love what I'm doing, and not just because I'm doing it, because I get to see it, man, and having other people like it and other people get down, it's just
Mhm.
it's everything to me, right? Like I love all the things that Wingless Comics does. I love all the things that I've created. I love all the things that I've created with other people, editing and all this other stuff. Air Force Ones and the Ones universe is a different beast for me.
I want to, before we go on, I want to show the new trailer that you have, because obviously the first one had literally the Air Force Ones by Nelly and the St. Lunatics, and
Yes,
we couldn't use that one, copyright.
you're right.
But
Right. Same
Grab me
problem.
by my soul, that's for sure. I'm telling you.
so here's the newest version with its own music, and here we go.
They were never meant to fly. Now they'll tear down the sky. Rising from the ashes of a failed piece, I look into a broken mirror and still see me. Is this a nightmare or a broken dream? I step inside and take control of my destiny. A vessel made for righteous wrath, reigniting fires of a war-torn past. I'd sacrifice all that I have if fate could save me from this path. They were never meant to fly. Now they'll tear down the sky. Air Force One's fire. Fight for freedom, freedom.
Okay, I want the song. Okay,
Yeah.
I want that song. I want it.
Man.
I want it on repeat because it makes me just want to just go out and just do some stuff. See, that's what I'm talking about, sir. This
Bruh.
It is
Thank
giving
you.
it gives your typical anime feel.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. So again, I love my wife, and she loves me obviously because she haven't killed me yet. Because like you said, I've been playing that thing nonstop. My ADHD been ADHDing. I can listen to that thing 12 times in a row and not be phased at all. I'm just into it.
Yo,
So
if y'all know about if y'all know about the ADHD out there, you know, you truly understand when you are transfixed on something, you listen to the same thing or watch the same
right,
thing for hours.
right, yeah, man. So it's
That's
again,
what
man,
it's
it's just been
what.
it's been very, very dope. I love the song. The song is actually it's actually not just for that opening either. It's the full length song. There's a full length version um that I will be releasing in parts because again, I want to put some more trailer materials together, some other stuff together.
Mhm.
And as we go start producing volume 2, that's going to be a thing. I am going to end up releasing the entire song, you know what I mean? I feel like we're going to take it to streaming platforms and the whole deal, like do a full release for it. Is why I love it that much. And so it don't matter if it's gonna have a million of streams, if for no other reason than I've streamed it a million times. You know what I mean? So um, you know, again, man, I think that there are a lot of properties and a lot of things that we see in again in our community and in the wider comic community in general.
Mhm.
And I'm not setting out to prove that you don't need $1 million to do something beneficial or do something great or do something of high quality, but
Yeah.
I am doing it right. Like my goal is to complete this project. My goal is to do the next thing and invest and show that there is kind of a path. And you don't have to, I don't need to fleece everybody for a bunch of money to do a small thing, right? Like
Mhm.
I invest in myself. I make sure, again, even when you see the animation, that animation is top quality animation. The song is top
Beautiful.
quality songs. You don't have to skimp just because you don't have um, a pocket full of money. You just have to take the time and plan it out and do it right. And I realized that, like life, comics, and all this other stuff, we get judged by the worst of us and not by the best of us. The best of us
Mm.
Oh
is
God,
the
yes.
exception. Oh my God, it's how
Mhm.
you're amazing because you did that. Not everybody can do that. But the worst of us, yeah, that's how all of you guys are. So the same thing goes for comics. If you see a bad black indie comic, then somebody goes, see, that's what indie comics are. That's what black indie comics are. Nah, everything you're gonna see out of Wingless is 100% the best quality that we can do at the time, and we're just gonna keep leveling up. And we started at a quality that's at least on par with the big two, and we're just gonna get better. And I
Yes.
mean that for every project that we do.
What I've seen, and like I said, Malachi Bailey's been on the show before a couple times, and
Mhm.
talking about her. And when you see the level of her, and then you see Immortals, and then you see Justice, and now you have Fades that you're working on. Let's talk about those projects too. Like
Yeah.
these are things, and we've said it here on the platform. Like we love our black indie creators because they are giving us stories that we can't get anywhere else. They're giving us characters that aren't just weather based or electricity based powers. Like in most cases, origin stories better.
Mm-hmm.
Storyline, story arcs are much better. Like they're just it's not the same repetitive thing over and over and over. And you don't have the whole, we're going to do a 7-story arc and then we're going to start over with a new writer and put
Mm.
somebody else in, and you scrap everything from before. You guys, and I mean black creative indie creators, have given us something that goes on, and it just gets better and better, and we get more, and it's like, and we're starving for it. We're like, yes, I need more of that. And the fact that you haven't gone like commercial in the sense of it becomes watered down
Mm-hmm.
is a godsend.
You know, a really good friend of mine, and I consider him a mentor as well, and a peer and a business partner, Jason Reeves, man, really schooled me on some
Mm,
stuff when I first got into the game, right? And look, I'm over Jason's house once or twice, a month or whatever. Like that's my people. And when I first got in, I wanted to do this. It's like you said, I want to do a 6 issue arc that does this and that and all this other stuff, right? And he was like, "Why? Why would you make people wait that long? An indie comic does one, maybe two a year, right? That's just the cycle, and it happens until you catch fire." So he was like, "Get your story right, do it in 4 issues, because then you get to tell the next story." And that is probably the biggest hurdle for indie comics, being able to tell the next story, right? Like you
Yes.
have to continue to invest and continue to invest. But it's not a bad thing. It's actually something that helps stories matriculate. As opposed to, and don't get me wrong, I grew up on Marvel, DC, Image. I still have affinity for those comics. I don't
right.
necessarily collect the way I used to,
Mm-hmm.
but
I
but
can't
it's
say
just
that.
it's different. Right.
My
You
corner is
know.
taller than me now, so yeah, I can't say that.
Right, right. So it's hard. So I do like some of the new stuff they're coming out with. I won't deny that, right? Like the new Wonder Woman and Batman series. I like some of their shorter stuff that
Absolutely.
they're
Yeah,
starting to do, the absolute stuff, and some of the shorter things that they're doing, because again, you get bogged down by hundreds of years of continuity that folds back on itself. And I think
Mhm.
that
that's
bogs down
that.
American comics, right? Whereas necessarily manga, even if it'll have hundreds of issues, it's not bogged down by the continuity issues.
Right.
And I think that that's something that helps it sell in this market a little bit differently than a superhero comic. Also, manga. You mentioned fades. Manga allows you to tell a more diverse group of stories than
Hmm.
is traditionally welcomed in American comics. Now, American comics does do all of it, but people don't associate American comics with all these different genres of things.
Right.
Whereas they do that for manga. And so with something like Fades, and like you said, telling stories that we don't normally get to see, Fades is a project like that. Fades is an anime. Sorry, not an anime. Fades is a manga I'm developing based around a barbershop, and it's going to be a slice of life uh, barbershop manga, right? Where
See,
you get to see our culturally again. eh, A barbershop is sacred to us, right? A barbershop is holy ground. You can have two crews beefing, you can have all this other shit going on, right? They step in a barbershop, everything knock it off,
It's
right?
neutral
For the
ground.
moment.
Yes, neutral
Right.
territory.
And right. And so those kinds of things are important, right? And the social aspects of a barbershop, unless you've been into a barbershop, you don't understand it, right? But the moment you get in one, you understand it. And again, we don't get those kind of stories. We have the movie barbershop, right? We have the movie beauty shop, but we've never had a comic or a manga do that. Whereas Food Wars could do it, and they could just be talking about food, right? So,
makes you hungry
um,
too.
right,
Stop
right,
it.
right. So,
Stop it.
so I wanted to do that same kind of thing with, again, something that's culturally relevant for us. And for me, that's a barbershop. For me, that's getting in there and seeing somebody want to be the best barber, because their father was, and however that story matures. I think all those things are incredibly important. Also, I learned from Jason Reeves, controlling the means of production, right?
Mm.
Uh, Money is good, and I will never say money is not good. We could always use more money to do more
There's
productions,
it.
right? But
True.
all money ain't good money.
That
So
part.
That
if
part.
I want to continue my voice and I want to keep the means of production and I want to do what I want to do, then there are certain things that I can't take. There are certain deals that I can't really get into. I've had a number of offers, quote unquote, for IP licensing and on and on and on. And while they might look good on the surface, somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I'll give you 100K for justice." Okay, over what kind of a time period? Over what are the constraints? What kind of creation can I do after I give you this IP licensing deal, right? And again, 100K for a year is nice. It's okay. But if you're talking about 100K over 10 years, that
Mm-mm.
means nothing to me, right? Like, so
Mm-mm.
it's all these little things that go into what we control and how we should be taking over and controlling the narratives of who we are socially, which we don't necessarily get to do.
Right.
Other people get to control who they are socially. If we're talking about manga, talking about anime, if I put on a samurai helmet right now, everybody knows that's Japanese,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so I'm doing something that's culturally relevant to Japanese people and blah, 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 whatever it might be. If someone goes out there and raps, or somebody goes out and does K-pop Demon Hunters, a movie which I love, let me put it out there. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was dope. I love the music. I think it's great.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is K-pop itself, not the movie, but K-pop, the genre itself is just R&B, right? And R&B doesn't get that props for that.
No.
It's not when they do K-pop and they do K-pop Demon Hunters, it's not like, oh, they're doing a black thing and it culturally goes back to, oh man, let's give some props to black people because they
Hmm.
invented this, right? And it's culturally relevant to them and it's part of their cultural identity. It's not that. It's, well, K-pop is different. No, it's not. It's not. It's just done by different people, right? And so I think that that's a part that I try to infuse in my stories and I try to infuse in everything that we're doing and how we control our narratives and how we produce the stories that we produce. I think that's incredibly important.
Yeah, I think so too. Voice of Saw says indie comics are better than mainstream comics nowadays. What we see in the main books are a regurgitated mess. We at Wingless don't produce no mess. That's Mal. Hey.
Right.
So this is true. This is true. This is back to what I was saying about repetitive storylines and just kind of repeating it. Once again, it's great. I'll use Superman as an example. There's a reason why I didn't get Superman comics after a certain point in my life, because what do you do with that character? You can't always have him fight Doomsday.
Right.
You can't always have him fight Apocalypse. Like, what do you do? Like, you change the power set, you change the scaling the powers, you change the villains. You can't always have Lex Luthor involved. What do you do with over 80 years of history? There's got to be a story that you haven't been able to tell yet. The fact that they've even introduced his kid now and been able to tell stories with it has been a miracle. In a way that it can tell more stories has been a miracle in itself. So that's just an example of, like, how many times can you do it?
Yeah, and I also think that, well, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think they've lost the plot a lot of times on Superman, right? Because it becomes one of two camps. It's either like we got the dark and broody Superman, or Superman is all about hope. And like both things are actually true, right?
Mhm.
Like Superman, in my opinion, is a very tortured individual,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
He's got to be a man conflicted. He does have all this power. I love Bruce Timm did it with at the very end of Justice League Unlimited, where he lets loose on on
Dark Side.
Darkseid,
Dark side.
right? For like the last time. And he tells him like, I walk around in a world of like cardboard and tissue paper. And like I forget that I can actually let loose and go to town and go to work, right? And so he
It's a
finally
great
does
speech he
that.
gives. It's a
Right.
great speech that he gives.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I think that were I writing a Superman story, you would see how tortured he is with that, right? Because he's got to be this beacon of hope, but that can't be possible all the time, or it can't be easy all the time, right? He's
Mhm.
got to be this person that's with kid gloves all the time, even with the people he loves. He's got to hold back even his temper, right? Like, and I know they showed a flash of that, like in the James Gunn stuff, right? Um, but even then, right? Like his temper has to be so under control that he can't yell, because if he yells, he could like rend the flesh from your body with just his voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like there
exactly.
are so many things that, and so many nuanced levels and layers of who he could be, right? And
Mhm.
how he probably should be done in order to reinvigorate his stories.
Right.
Similarly, like Batman. Batman is his greatest when he's a great detective. I get it. He's kung fu dude. I love it. He does a bunch of cool shit. He's got gadgets and stuff too. But like when he's actually the world's greatest detective, that's when you get the best stories from him.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I
they again
agree.
they lose that a lot of times, right? In favor of the flash and dash. Um, and so a way that I think that indie comics, excuse me, let me say this. A way that good indie comics, not amateur comics, right? Because those are two different things.
Right.
Do
Good
it
man.
well is we're able to tell those diverse stories, right? And sometimes indie comics and amateur comics get conflated, and that is also an issue. You have a lot of amateur comic writers, which I there's no shade to them. They are doing their dream and their passion, and they should continue to do it. But there is a difference between the Saturday morning cartoon guy who watched
Mm,
X-Men, the original run of X-Men, and was like, I want to do comics. Never studied anything, never read anything, never learned story, never learned how to write the basic stuff, and then does a
mm.
comic. You can tell when that comic comes out. Whereas someone who's studied their craft and studied storytelling and really has a passion for it does it. And those are
Right.
two completely different realms of storytelling.
There and when you mention, I'm glad you mentioned like the storytelling aspect, especially when you have different writers. When you mention Batman being like when you tell those detective stories, those are the best stories.
Mhm.
There's a reason why Chip Zdarsky's run on Daredevil is such a great run, because
Man,
he's
Right.
telling a different version. There's a reason why Hickman's run on Fantastic Four, X-Men,
Right.
whatever else to touch is a reason. He's like, I have this story, I want to tell it, and it's going to be good because it's going to make you
Mhm.
go somewhere where you haven't been before, haven't been in a long time.
mhm.
Make it
Mhm.
build something out from this point on. So you're right. When you have writers in the indie field who just, oh, I like it and I'm just gonna write it. Like, yes, but do you really want to be so one dimensional? Or
Right.
do you really want
Right.
to make that writer say, wow, I never expected to see it that way. I never expected to feel this way about seeing a film or watching a movie or watching a television show or even reading a comic or a novel for that matter.
Yeah.
But see, now
Mhm.
I'm seeing a different version of what I'm seeing. James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy, all 3 volumes. You watch them in the first entirety, you're like, great superhero films. You didn't think this was
Mhm.
Rocket's story the whole time until third
Mhm.
film. Now you go back and you're like, oh wow, there was another level,
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
It,
it get that people don't understand. A lot of people don't get to see that aspect in writing in indie comics. They just say, I'm going to tell a story, and that's the end of it.
and I
Yeah.
think that's where a lot of people are gravitating to the more independent companies, like Image, Boom, IDW, Ignition. They're hungry for something outside the normal parameters that have been set through all these years. You have this pantheon of heroes, the Justice League, and people don't know that much about the Justice Society, and you see the Teen Titans, but you don't really hear about Young Justice. And you go on Marvel sides, you got the New Warriors and the Young Avengers, but you really don't hear that much about them until something significant happens, and then it becomes a big media blitz. And when you mentioned about indie comics writing, the crazy thing is the first title that popped up in my head was Irredeemable. Mark
Mhm.
Waid's writing on Irredeemable, flawlessly incredible, because it showed a superhero who's so OP that no one else could touch him, but he goes on a rampage because something happens to him. And I think when you mentioned Superman, I said there's parallels in that story, except one holds restraint, the other just said, "Nah, I'm done.
I'm
I'm
good.
done."
Yeah, I'm good.
Right. And
So
that's very rare that you get that kind of storytelling, or even just even a twist as easy as Batman and Wonder Woman being the couple and not Superman and Wonder Woman, right? Like
hello.
that's mind blowing for people, right? But it makes perfect sense, and it gives you some different storytelling aspects. But then also you get the same thing where you do something like injustice in that story, right? Where Superman, because Joker makes him kill Lois, you know what I mean? And then he goes and becomes this authoritarian and all this stuff. But then it goes on too long because then they want to milk it for all the money they can, and the story
Yep.
becomes stupid and convoluted, as opposed to doing something like well, they even did it with Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come. Look, beginning to end,
Brilliant.
Alex Ross,
Brilliant.
boom, in out, let's go, right? And that's done. And it's over. And then they got to do the kingdom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I read all of the Kingdom and it was stupid, but I still loved it as a younger man, right? But it was dumb. It didn't need to be done. And that's one of the problems I think with capitalism, right? Like that's what it boils down to. Oh, we want to try to wring some more money out of this property as opposed to having something that's dope as hell and then sailing off into the sunset.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Which is why Milestone took off so well, because it was off the beaten path. Even though
Hmm.
DC published it, they didn't own it. And Milestone said, okay, we're going to create this entire ecosystem of nothing but people of color. And let's see them go through their normal problems. But now they have superpowers they didn't expect. And I said the whole thing, the setup was incredible. That's why I'm always a
Yeah.
Milestone fan. Always.
Right.
I'm a depressed Milestone fan. I ain't gonna lie. That relaunch, man. So
Oh, my God.
look, Dennis and Reggie and Joe and all of those guys. Again, I know Joe Illidge. I've met Dennis Cowan before.
Mhm.
Again, it's not like I know him and I'm gonna inbox him or nothing. And I got nothing against those guys. But what I wish, like my personal wish, is that they had culled the indie market, the black indie market, for some of these up and coming writers, right? And some of these up and coming
Yes.
artists, and really, really relaunched Marvel. I mean, sorry, Milestone. If you could have had somebody like Greg Anderson Elise on Zombie, right? Like
Ooh,
that's
let's
that dude's genre. You
go.
Shout
know what I'm
out to
saying?
Greg, man.
Again, if you could have got somebody like Jason Reeves on Hardware, and don't get me wrong, I know these guys want to tell their stories because they're their characters, so I'm not saying that they shouldn't. What I am saying is if they had really brought up the next generation along with them in this
Mhm.
relaunch, I think it would have been more sustainable. I think that they wouldn't have had some of the publishing and production
Issues.
woes that they had.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think that there were just some other things that they could have done. And I know for a fact that the black indie community would have backed them and supported them because we did regardless of that. And so I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
that support would have tripled or quadrupled if Milestone was as much a movement this time as it was last time. Right? It was a
I
Mhm.
movement
believe.
because we hadn't seen that in comics the first time. The second time, in my opinion, it should have been a gathering, right? Like
Yes.
when they even had the Milestone Initiative and Dorado Quick, that's my guy. Greg Burnham is my guy, and I'm glad that they got to do their thing. But that should have been a movement, right? Like that should have been the churning
Yeah.
that started something else. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. So that makes me a very depressed, Milestone fan in that regard.
This is one of the reasons why like Blerd Station is existing right
Mhm.
now. Being able to take a lot of these stories and put them in other mediums.
Mhm.
So in most cases, stay in the same medium and still get out to the masses. Once again, there are stories that can be told in fresh new ways,
Yeah.
and we're having those opportunities now. And you're right, in the situation like with the Milestone relaunch, it was there. We were happy because we got it, but then it was just like, yeah, but did it feel like the same boom that we got in the early 90s?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and it felt cold a little bit. It felt like it was
Yeah.
kneecapped,
Yeah.
to a degree. And I'm like, man, we should be hearing more about this. Why are we not
Yeah.
getting more? And why are you releasing it in the way that you're Oh, there's a problem.
Yeah. And
You
I
know,
agree with
Yeah.
Brian. It should have been a movement, because when the word had gotten out that Milestone was coming back, I sat there and literally thought, now the door is going to open for these other black comic creators who've been
Hmm.
waiting for this door to open so they can come in and say, hey, I want to be on board. I want to bring my characters along with this universe so that way people can see there's more to it than the standard characters that people have been seeing for years.
Hmm.
And I think somewhere along the line, somebody said, yeah, that's a bit too much. So we're going to
Hmm.
kneecap it.
Right.
But I think what they failed to realize is you can trip somebody up, but unless they fall and don't move, they're gonna keep moving. And
Right.
these different companies out here, Wingless and Ray and Midnight Comics doing God's work. Okay. Something I can introduce to my grandchildren and that I'm very proud to be a part of. So, sir.
So
I think that a piece of it, and it's unfortunate, right? But I feel like, and again, I'm not in DC editorial, so I don't actually know, right? But I feel like some of it stagnated and it fell back on all some of those old storytelling mechanics, even whereas we wanted something newer and fresher and an updated take on what we had seen before. And you do have, again, you got people like Sebastian and Stranger Comics and Urias who just launched Jason Wise.
Yes.
There are these crazy movements going on, right? You got the brother who did Dark Pink over there. Just so many things that again, there's so much potential and so much that can be mined. Um, from this community that mainstream hasn't really realized yet, which I think that's a plus and a minus, right? Because mainstream has a way of, once they find out, they try to mine everything until it's dead.
Thank you. You said it.
And that becomes a casualty. So there's a part of me that's happy that that hasn't happened yet. And I hope by the time that mainstream does get aware and does try to do that, attempt to do that,
It's
I
too
hope
late.
that we are educated enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
To take the benefits of that but not suffer the consequences. And that comes into the business aspects of it, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
contracts and what we're willing to do and not willing to do, and knowing our value and knowing our worth. So I'm hoping that there's a give and take. Because again, it's bound to happen. It's again, it's capitalism. It's going to happen at some point.
right,
But if we're educated, and if we know what to do, then it won't matter.
If we know
I
to
agree.
harness our power, keep
Hmm.
harnessing so we can become stronger and they can't take
Hmm.
from us.
Hmm.
So we talked about Air Force Ones. We talked about uh, the main three a little bit, and where they're stumbling. And we talked about some of the black creative indies that are out here. Let's talk about some of the other titles you have going on
Yes,
over
sir. Please.
So
at Wingless.
the wingless universe, I'm very fortunate. The wingless universe is an interconnected universe. And as we get more issues, you see the interconnectivity. So we started out with Nightfall, which is a 5-part series that the beginning and ending, it was 5-part crossover series that had Justice. It featured Justice, it featured her, it featured Caliburn, it featured Avery the Astonishing, and it had a couple cameos across the indie universe. So that sets the stage for all of our characters kind of coming together. Like I said, I mentioned her, and that is Malachi Bailey's character that spun off from his novel, his award-winning novel, Her. And then he had the second volume of that novel, and he's working on the third right now, to end her trilogy in novel form, and she will continue her adventures in comics. And so her is a water elemental and immortal that every time she dies, she has to come back and remember her life and figure out her life and figure out why she is being killed. She's known as the oldest woman, because she's been around since the beginning of time. So she's got a lot of mystery and a lot of things kind of in her corner and also against her. So I love seeing her and Justice together because Justice is said to be the angel that barred the gates of Eden and that brought down the walls of Jericho. And obviously, he's been doing all these ethereal things, right, throughout the universe and throughout the galaxy, as our timeline has gone on. So to see those two interact, like, I love how they crisscross each other, and you're going to see a deeper history between those two, as well.
Mm-hmm.
uh, we also have Immortalis, and Immortalis is the story of the fall of the last bastion of the Roman Empire. And so basically that sets the stage for everything that happens in the contemporary Wingless universe. So Immortalis is set slightly in the past, a couple hundred years in the past, and it watches Constantinople fall, which opens the gateway for darkness, right? The Wingless universe is a quote unquote dark universe, right? It's our timeline, but if the worst of the worst demons and monsters were let loose, and we had no heroes to stop them.
Mm.
And so Immortalis sets the stage for that. It's the last bastion, the last place, the last holdout. We also have, for lack of better words, acquired, and we're working in partnership with Constant Hustle Comics and Lawrence James King. And Avery the Astonishing is actually a legit and strategic part of Wingless Comics as well. So Avery the Astonishing's history is part of Wingless, and you'll see that as we get into issue 2, where you see again where the crossovers kind of happen, and you'll see some Easter eggs of some of the Wingless characters in the background of Avery, so that you see they're all in the same world,
Yeah.
as well as. And Lawrence, you can't kill me because you're on the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast. But we are also going to bring over the last line, which is Lawrence James King's other title, for his cadre of family heroes. They're also part of the Wingless universe, so they're probably the plan is to have them for our next crossover, which is called Paradise Lost, where we bring in all the Wingless characters again and tell a big, larger than life, 5-6 part story again.
Ooh.
This is gonna be amazing.
We.
We really try, and I'm gonna take a little victory lap because Wingless Comics, not me specifically, but Wingless Comics is very fortunate because a lot of people set out to do crossovers and set out to do multi-issue arcs, and just because of the way this business is, it's not really feasible. It's very hard to do. It's not an easy feat. And Wingless Comics has been blessed and fortunate and strategic enough. Within our first 2 years, we were able to put out an entire trade paperback, an entire 5-issue crossover, right? In addition to the other comics that we were producing at the same time. So we look forward to being able to do those big events because I believe that our fans and our supporters deserve that as well, right? I don't only need to see Marvel doing, the Age of Apocalypse or the Aftermath of Apocalypse. I want to be able to produce those stories myself and ourselves. And so
I
that's what
love
we're
it.
doing at Wingless, right? And that's part of bringing all these characters together.
I love this.
This is awesome because, and I'm glad you mentioned that because when you are in this business of comics and storytelling, and when you perfectly describe the whole crossover issue with a lot of things, it's a lot of politics involved.
It is. It's a lot of politics, and honestly, it's a lot of ego. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be real, right? Like, again, we did Nightfall within the first year. We released Justice #1, and not even I think, before her #1 hit, we were on her 0, and I was like, Nightfall, okay, cool, Nightfall #1, right? Let's do it. And we worked with Concept Hustle Comics, and we worked with Concept Moon Studios, and Lawrence is my big brother, and Brandon Diddley's my big brother as well. And truth be told, me and Brandon got into it over marketing, over all these things, right? Not necessarily characters and what happens with the story, because we had hashed all that out, but it's also business, right? We forget that a lot of this, we love what we do and it's very passionate, but it's also business, right? And business takes time and it takes communication, and you have to put your ego to the side,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to do what's best for business. And neither I nor Brandon at the time did that to the extent that we needed to. Right. Again, we're good now and everything is fine, and everything went out the way it was supposed to go out. But initially that was hard, right? Initially, those were hard conversations. And a lot of times we don't get through those hard conversations. A lot of times we just get the glitz and glam of, oh, we all put our characters together. Okay, great. But what does that actually mean? What are we actually doing with that? What is the actual goal? And those things are important and very, very often get overlooked, and very, very often can lead to worsening outcomes. So again, we're fortunate with Wingless that we were able to strategically put this together, and again, do it from beginning to end. There are a lot of companies that have been around 10 plus years that haven't been able to do a crossover and to do a multi-part story, and we were able to do it within one. So, you know, I'll never stop being thankful for that.
Wow. Y'all, if y'all have not had the chance to go over to Wingless Entertainment or winglessint.com, y'all need to go check this out, because this gives you a glimpse into what they are creating here at Wingless Comics. Let me tell you, I looked at it before when I was at work, and I work at a game and comic book store, so we're dealing with that all the time. And I went over and clicked on it, and I sat so transfixed on this that I didn't hear my manager go, my tail, my tail, my tail, my tail, huh? Oh, okay, got it. And they came over and they were trans. I said, what are you looking at? What were you looking at? I was looking at that. What's that? And I said, well, I'm glad you asked. And I pointed them out to them. I was kind of embarrassed, but y'all, this is beautiful to see this collective talent create something this magical. it does something to my heart. Y'all need to go check these out because these folks is working. These folks is working. Okay.
Team No
Not there's
Sleep,
it's
man.
not to play with.
Again, it's. I think that getting an opportunity, right, to talk about something that I love with gentlemen that are as studied in this craft as yourselves, right? Like you guys aren't just, hey, I sat down and did a podcast, right? Like you know comics, you know conventions, you know material, you know stories. And to be able to come and talk story and say like, and have someone say, hey man, this is dope. Like I genuinely, hey, I just really like this thing that you're doing. Not the
Hmm.
promotion side, not the other thing. Like I want to see the shirt. I want to see the character. I want to, you know what I mean? That means a lot more. Look, sales are great, but sales come and go.
Hmm.
True.
What doesn't come and go is people that are actually interested in the work you do,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And so I think for me, that is more quantifiable, not in dollars and cents obviously, but it's more quantifiable, and it means more to me personally, right? Because, and I said this when I first hit the scene, I was like, I can write justice for the rest of my life, right? Like that can come out of my own pocket, and I can produce that and publish that. I own the means of production for that, so that's never going to go away if I don't want it to. Same for Air Force One, same for the things that I'm doing. uh but when you have somebody that wants to read it, or have someone that's interested or understands where you're coming from when you talk about Macross, or when you talk about um Battleship Yamato. You know what I mean? Like when people know and you're like, man, I'm finna do this thing, and then they can really get with you. You know what I mean? Like that's a different level of success, right? That's a different level of achievement. And that's the level that to sometimes to the consternation and annoyance of Brett and Lawrence and Malachi and my wife and everybody else, that like I try to live up to, right? Because we're gonna come out and, nah, Mal, write that again. Nah, Mal, write that again. Nah, that don't make no sense. Write it again, right? And he's gonna hate me by the end of the editing process. But when it comes out, it's gonna be fire though, you know?
But when you get to the end of that process and he looks back and goes, I see what you were talking about. Now
Right.
you've planted that seed. And as that seed continues to grow, you've created something beautiful.
Right.
And that's
Right.
always the foundation of companies like Wingless Comics and like Midnight Comics. It's just a beautiful collective of
Hmm.
imagination and creativity and dedication. Because we mentioned before, Marvel and DC, I hate to say it, y'all are getting kind of complacent because you're
Hmm.
expecting people to come to your stuff. But I realize if it matters or not. However, you have companies like Wingless Comics, like Ray Comics, like Midnight, who are going, oh, you want something that's meaningful and that's created? Come on over. Come on.
You got Kingwood, with
Right,
DC
right,
Comics.
Yes,
right, right,
sir.
right. Killer
You
B,
know,
right, right,
you
right.
got things
Harriet
like that.
Tubman, yeah, exactly.
You got
Right.
things like that. So it really is. It's more than a breath of fresh air. It's just
It's
a
a beautiful
way.
summer day.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
Spartans in the building. Our shipwright.
Yo,
What's going on?
Deacon Deadlift,
yo.
what up, man?
Yeah, Deacon Deadlift is way tired. It's Lambert, sir.
So
How are you doing?
it's a refreshing thing when you have like maybe didn't even name a fraction of the black owned
We ain't got
comic
that
book
kind of time.
industry. It's
Right,
Right.
right.
that's like a portion. It's not even, I don't know if that's how you can place it, but that's just the tip of the iceberg of the people that we've listed. They're like, there are so many more who have like they either have great art, great storytelling, fresh new ideas, original ideas,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
representation
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
across the board, different shades,
Mm-hmm.
colors, backgrounds. This is
And
why
I
a
think
lot of these stories.
something that's incredibly important that again gets missed with some of the things that we see out of Marvel and DC and whoever, right? Is culture is just as important or more important even than color,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
So there is always that argument of like, oh well, we don't want reskinned characters and blah blah. Look, I want it all. Give me if DC turns every redheaded character into a black character, all their TV shows, fine, I'm cool with that. But again,
Mm-hmm.
that's not where it stops. I'm not going to cheer that on and for that to be the end. The goal, right, is to represent who we are as a culture, and I think that I always work with this idea of cultural exchange, which I think is very, very big. And I don't think that Black people get the credit for doing it and having done it historically that we deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when I say that, I mean like Black Americans, right? Because again, that gets conflated. When you say Black people, then it's like, oh man, the diaspora. I'm not. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about, and that's no disrespect to anyone in the diaspora. What I am
Right.
saying though is that there are a lot of things. You have UK drill rap now, right? Right. But
Mm-hmm.
UK drill rap comes from drill rap, which comes
Mhm.
from rap, which comes. You know what I mean? Again, let's go back. Okay, so again, that's a Black American thing that started, and there are so many things like that again that happens. Again, K-pop is a big one. You can talk about a lot of the Harajuku culture in Japan and on
Mm-hmm.
and on and on. And I have no problem with any of these things, right? Because those cultures don't necessarily take credit like they invented it. What happens in America though is they repackage it like those people are saying that they invented it. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think it's very important for our cultural identity to be matriculated in a way that we decide it is. And we say, hey, basically, like they do to us, right? We're loaning this to you. Look, I can go into a manga space, I can go into an anime space, but I realize that it's on loan, right? Like it's someone else created it. I'm just doing my thing within it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's high time for how we tell stories, um, and how we dispense and disperse our culture
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
to be done that same way. No, no, you can do it, right? But this is us. I am so tired of Kim Kardashian being the one who created a wife beater or cornrows or whatever else. You know what I mean? Like it just makes
Mm-hmm.
zero sense, right? But again, that in the American press, that's what happens. And so I think that the cultural exchange and how we deal with what we culturally lend other people needs to change. And I think that starts with storytelling, at least for me, right? There are going to be other people
Yeah.
that do it in other ways. For
Mm-hmm.
me, and for the Black comics community, it starts with storytelling. It starts with this word of mouth. It's look for the rap artist. It starts with your storytelling, bro. It starts with
Mm-hmm.
your beats. It starts with your music. And I
Right.
think that that's just incredibly important. And when we're doing that and we're doing that at our highest level, we can't be beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's
Yeah.
just a fact of the
Yeah.
matter, right? When rap was at its highest level, that's why it took over. It was something that was unfathomable. No one could do it the same way. You can't copy it. You can't duplicate it. That's why pop music is pop music, because they couldn't do R&B. So they were like, well, we're going to do this pop music, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's close, but we just don't quite have it, right? The Swedish, to their credit, the Swedish got really close. Because they can do a pop track like
Yeah.
nobody's business. You know what I'm saying? So the Swedish got real close. But again, those are things when we hold those things dear and keep
Mm-hmm.
those things close and make sure that those things are us and deeply associated with us, that
Mm-hmm.
changes the narrative and it changes the dynamic of this cultural exchange that we're already engaged in, right?
Right.
Right.
But then we hold the means of production, and I hammer that home because me and Jason hammer that home when we're talking about things, and it's a principle that goes throughout everything
Mm-hmm.
that we do in life.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, you said it because culture. I always say they love that. I said in the words of Paul Mooney, everybody want to be one, nobody want to be one.
Facts.
Right, right, right,
So
right.
I think this is a great conversation because here we don't do interviews, we do conversation.
Precisely.
Amen.
Like that's just what it is. Brian, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk about, because we're in our spooky season, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Black vampire films and shows that you should be watching.
Blackula.
Always Blackula.
all I got.
Right.
Always Black. Can you join us for that?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. 100%.
Okay, definitely. Okay, so we'll be right back with our guest, Brian J. Lambert. Blerd's Eyeview is a proud affiliate of Otaku Noir. Use the code Blerd's Eyeview for 10% off on all items. With a different nerd-themed box filled with items made by talented Blerds across the country, you surely will not be disappointed. Go to otakunoir.com. Otaku Noir, the #1 Blerd mystery box company. Running low on energy, long days and even longer nights, tired of all the other energy drinks and bars promise you a lot and never delivering? Need to make it through work?
but want a product that can keep up with your busy lifestyle? Want no longer? Try Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls. The balls that are so smooth and with a load of nutrients and vitamins to really get you up and bouncing off the walls. Made with all natural ingredients and healthy junk to satisfy even the pickiest eater. Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls are sold everywhere where you buy your junk. And now, for those who want that extra kick in the butt, comes Chef's Heavy Duty Chocolate Salty Balls with 120% more caffeine than the leading brand. Disclaimer, this product has not been approved by the FDA or World Health Association. Warning, this product is not intended for consumption by children, elderly people, or women who are pregnant or may become pregnant. You might even get pregnant.
All right, we are back with our guest, Brian J. Lambert. What's going on, Brian? Thank you for doing all these great things talking about Wingless Comics. Now we are stepping into Black vampire films and shows you need to be watching. And there are more than you think. I'm going to show. I'm going to show. I was trying to figure out how I want to do this. I'm going to show a few things, just a few images. And I want each one of you to tell me what you think. What's the first thing that comes to your mind for just these couple of properties? So we're going to start with our man Blade,
the OG.
Yes, sir. He shall always be named.
Yep.
He's always going to be. He's always going to be Blade.
There's always going to be one Blade. There's never going to be another. And yet, how true that is becoming.
Right.
But we thought it was a joke.
What
we thought was a joke. So yeah. Brian, what's the first thing? Go ahead.
Don't stake me, y'all, but I love the fight scenes. So let me say that. I love the fight scenes. I did not like Blade 2, though.
Oh, no.
I thought it was convoluted. Right?
Like it was a CGI, wasn't it?
Right. The story wise, they do a lot of things to do nothing. I knew y'all was gonna betray me the whole time. Then why did you just kill him, bro? Why do we do all this stuff? Right?
He said the whole setup.
The whole plot hole in the middle of it. I get that part where it's like they trained 8 years to take you out, and now all of a sudden you gotta work with them, and you ain't used to paranoid.
Right. And then what happened to what happened to the daytime suits? They came out, they had them in the beginning, and then they just didn't use them for nothing. It just also, okay, last thing real quick. I have a huge beef with Blade 3. And not for the reason because it did suck, right? But Blade 3, there's a part at which Dracula gives this speech talking about how they're honorable men and blah blah blah, and they're gonna have this sword fight while he's holding a baby dangling off of a roof. How can you be? We are honorable men as I'm about to kill this innocent baby. I was like, who wrote this?
You know, that classic delusion. Somebody's coffee was spiked. It's like, it would be great.
More and more you realize why Wesley was being the way he was on set.
Right.
You're just like,
it's not his fault. It's not.
It's not his fault, but it's whoever was on that Michelle Pfeiffer when they wrote that story.
Yeah. Right.
Or whoever was in the writer's room talking about, it would be great. Okay. He's talking about holding a baby.
The saving grace of Blade 2 is Ron Perlman. It was about
You had Ron Perlman, which could have been a great person to have as a vampire. I still say like this: you had Donnie Yen as the Iceman, and you
wasted that
nothing with him.
Not a thing. Oh my god!
I just knew watching that in theaters and telling my wife, "This Donnie Yen. Oh, we about to have a black. Wait, he ain't do nothing.
Nope.
You don't even see.
Right. Nope. I thought he was gonna be the climactic battle scene. I was like, when they do some kung fu, this is gonna be the Donnie Yen show. I was ready, and then.
You go home and say, I'm gonna watch It Man because y'all done made me mad. I'm gonna go watch It Man.
Huge disappointment on that.
Right. Yeah.
If you haven't watched Dragon Tiger Gate, go check that one out though too.
That's a good one.
Donnie Yen is fire in Dragon Tiger Gate.
Yes. So, Spartan, what's your thoughts on Blade? Just showing that image. What's the things that come to mind?
Motherfucker, have you lost your goddamn mind?
That was, I'm like, that didn't look like that was in the script now, did it? It was just like,
I still say it like this. Every time I get to that part, it's like you said, Fury, I think that was ad-libbed, and I think a stuntman just got it wrong. Like, oh crap, this is supposed to be blanks. Like, oh crap, this is supposed to be blanks. And Wesley kind of broke character for a second. He went from brooding to
just said, no, keep that in the film. That was gorgeous.
That was perfect. Keep it. What, motherfucker? Yeah, hurt.
Like I said, it's like this best ain't for show.
Bitch.
But no, that's kind of Blade. I mean, outside of again, we know the impact, and what led to the beginning of the MCU was basically because this, of course, the first ever. You can argue all you want to. I know we won this group, but they showed a successful superhero movie that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel sat there and said, "Oh, we're just going to call it Marvel Knights because if it bombs, we can just sit there and say y'all are the redheaded stepchild of the group." But no, outside of that, I mean, it set a different tone for a story. It wasn't the typical vampire, brooding, I want to suck your blood, and damsel in distress and all that mess. Although there were some elements in it, but it was really, I'm not gonna lie, it was really speaking to us as black folks because we wanted a black superhero.
Look, it set the standard.
Indeed.
Definitely set the standard.
Indeed.
Navy, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you see Blade?
Legacy. Because when Blade came out,
that should be the fourth film.
Right.
When Blade came out in the theaters, I went and saw it in the theaters with my dad. And this was one of those movies that it brought all of us out. And I'm gonna tell you what's funny in the theater. Black folk, we know when something's good because you'll hear us. We also know when something's shitty, you'll hear us.
Yeah, it's like the Apollo. It's like Showtime at the Apollo.
Yeah, if it's like, what the, that nigga didn't just jump all the way over there. Get the fuck. Yo, it was. But what's so funny is after leaving the theater, the energy, people were still talking. They were still chatting about it. Yo, Wesley looked dope. I mean, he wasn't playing around. It wasn't a disrespect to the character. And those of us who love the comics know how they wrote Blade and how they made him seem like a second string character. He didn't feel second string in that movie. He was up front. He was up front, and he was relevant.
Especially when you get a dose of blood and you suplex somebody and you come up with the whoosh sound.
a perfect vertical suplex at that.
Right.
Perfect.
Like,
super unnecessary. Why is he doing that? I felt bad for the vampire, low key. Like
that was still my favorite. How you gonna look somebody dead in the eye while you hold them like
right.
Just drop the man at this point. He can't fight back.
This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Oh, okay.
That and multiple kick in the ribs until you kick him across the room, and I'm like, yo,
damn.
But also, but you talk about setting the stage though, Reverend. The first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. Like, how many movies could sit there and say that the first 20 minutes is probably the hardest to ever duplicate another movie?
Yeah.
To introduce a Marvel character.
The most relevant.
Val says, "Yep, Blade Legacy coming out October 31st, 2027."
Look, I am down for it. Let's go.
I would like to have a Blade Legacy, but we're gonna have a GTA 6 first before we have a Blade movie at this rate.
Right. Oof.
And if we do, make sure that we have the child of Whistler taking up the mantle as being that, being that dude. Is like, come on, instead of be like his daughter or maybe something like that. I think that would be fire if they did something like that.
Yeah, it would be glorious.
It would be good.
Here's another film I want everybody's opinion on. Queen of the Damned.
Oh, God rest her soul. That woman, we lost her way too soon.
During filming, no doubt.
Right. Her best, I would say that was probably if not her best acting role above Romeo Must Die.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, how
Yeah.
dare you disrespect Romeo Must Die?
I won't. Now, here's the thing. Now, I will say this: I will never disrespect the Jet Li movie because, in my mind, that man never made a bad movie.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
Right.
But
I
if we're
agree.
saying from the late Aaliyah, she killed the role of the Queen of the Vampires because the first time it came out, everybody was like, Aaliyah, really?
Right.
You had a lot of people going, an R&B singer is going to take on this role to where, and everybody's like, well, has she ever done acting? I mean, you heard all the napkins out there. She's only done singing. She's done dancing. This is a whole different area. The movie came out and shut everybody up.
She nailed it. Literally a case of do not talk about what someone can't do because you haven't seen it. When you realize that they could do it, you just haven't seen it.
Between her and from the last series, Sanaa Lathan, I would be a vampire so damn quick. Like there's hey Brian, did you get turned? But bro, don't even ask me that. You've seen both of them. You
give him that look like, come on now.
Yeah, right. Why was
even asking this question? Like a lawn chair. Just go ahead and bite me.
Why she look like Sanaa Lathan, man? Why she look like Sanaa Lathan? Yo, what up, shorty?
Look, I am not ashamed to say when I seen that Eric Brooks' mother was Sanaa Lathan, and I'm like,
like I said, I'd have been turned hella quick. It wouldn't even be
between I understand. I was just like, I understand.
All I gotta say is between her and Bianca Lawson, I
understand now. Like you're just like, I would get paused.
At that point, I think
I would get paused though.
I mean, I'll be a night person. I'll live with that. I mean, what has the sun really done for me lately? I'd be
right.
Yo, come on now.
Right.
We squint and we get mad, nigga. Why is it bright?
This is one of the things. Like so, Blade's mama turned. I understand, bro. I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not one of the ones you question. You don't look at him like, "Oh, how dare you?" You're like, "Well, bro, I would try to dap you up, but I can't let you in." So I mean, look,
it's that slow nod. Like, yeah, I mean, I get you, but
right.
That's rumor brothers. Everybody got stakes. They're like, he got turned. Who turned him? She did. Vampires
make so bad, right? Like, I mean, how much garlic do we need?
I'm like, you be almost sitting there thinking about it. The rationalization kicks in. Like, is really drinking? I mean, I can give up meat. You can still eat meat, right? I mean, y'all good on the meat. I mean, y'all ain't vegans, right? That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Right.
I
like Brussels sprouts, no way.
Yo.
Here's another one.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I will watch this every time it's on. Every single time. I don't care, bad wigs and all. What sold that movie for me was the fact that one, this was at Eddie Murphy's height of his career. Two, they said Angela Bassett, and I said I sold. You know, like this.
I was never for a man, and this was correct me if I'm wrong. Vampire in Brooklyn was the first movie that Eddie had multiple roles, right?
Yeah.
No, because he had done that in Coming to America first.
Okay, so I got that back. Okay, I got that backwards then. So Coming to America was the first one. No, but the reason why I bring that up is because that to me, again, a different vampire movie, but you really saw a different. It's not horror. It's horror, but it's funny, but it's not cheesy. Like it wasn't as cheesy as Black.
Ash is good.
Yeah,
and when he did a little Ash, a little evil. Evil ass is good.
That was always
did he really sell that entire thing to the entire church?
And they all agreed. That's the sad part. It's like, you know what? Evil ain't so bad. But no, that to me, outside of the story, then Kadeem Hardison, which again I completely forgot he was in the movie until the very end. But the level of there's no other way to say this. The level of blackness in that movie,
it was
unparalleled.
Yeah.
Right.
When I say
And I
literally
love
just
how he
watch
didn't have to be a poor vampire in order to do it, right?
Exactly.
Like he was also his origin was Dracula's origin. You know what I mean? Like coming on the ship, the whole deal. I love the lore
the
aspects
ship
of
of
it as
Demeter.
well.
Yep.
He
Ship
was
of Demeter,
affluent,
just coming from the Caribbean islands. I'm like, do it again. That's all I'm saying. Do it again.
Right.
But that just goes to show you that's how well you can write a story where you don't have to give it a stereotype. You don't have to nerf us. I mean, in the words of the Reverend, you don't gotta nerf us. You can literally give us the same. You can give us the same level of attention, to where, like you said, a fluent vampire, very old in age, but he ain't poor. He's well dressed. He's well spoken. He's charming. And at the same time, the story writes itself around him.
Exactly. Exactly.
Navy.
Classic. Straight up. Classic. That honestly, that is one of the few movies that the minute you sit down and start watching it, you don't get up, you don't pause it, you don't do any of that. And it speaks a lot for what the movie has done, really. Eddie's role in there and with Lady Angela in there, I mean, it was incredible. It was fun. It's a fun movie, genuinely. It didn't get the accolades I felt like it deserved because, once again, everybody in the world has got to be critical. It's amazing when you don't do shit, you ain't a part of shit, and you don't have shit, but you want to be the most critical person in the world for no reason, but you don't contribute to it. Shut up.
Say it again.
Right.
I'm just saying.
And don't forget your boy John Witherspoon acting a fool in there too.
Yes,
bro, John Witherspoon.
What's one your eyes? What's one your eyes, boy?
It was great, man. That shit was great.
It's them being at the shipping dock, and the cops come up with the German Shepherd, and Maximilian is like, he just kind of waves his hand, and a crowd of people, and they literally watch a German Shepherd launch in a puff of smoke and land in the lake, and nobody's questioning anything.
Nobody's saying a word.
They're looking around like what just happened, but like nobody seems to be out of sorts at all.
Nope.
Like,
No.
Not a flinch. Not a flinch.
Evil is good. Thanks, Safari. That's gonna be stuck in my head now. I'll be reciting that whole thing.
Evil is good. Evil is good. Here is one that I don't think a lot of people know about. Blackest Night.
Oh
yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is an undiscovered
super
gem
underrated.
right
Yes.
I'm so glad I'm amongst people who have watched this. This is so awesome.
Undiscovered gem. My goodness.
Right.
The minute I heard vampires, Black Slayers, and Keith David, I said, "Oh, this is going to be interesting."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Silver Throat himself.
Right.
New Orleans.
I'm sorry. Every time he talked, I kept hearing the Shadow Man from The Princess and the Frog. I ain't gonna lie.
Look, New Orleans, and then and even going down to the point where Keith David's character is telling the story of, oh yeah, we can walk during the daylight because of the melanin in our skin.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I said, man.
Yeah.
And then after all that last scene, I ain't gonna lie, like I was in it, and then that last thing happened. I was like, what the fuck? God damn it.
Yeah.
Just brings you right back. It's like, oh, y'all forget, y'all think y'all getting happy ended?
Right.
Underrated film.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
I think it's still on Amazon right now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
For free. I think you can
They need
see
all
it
the
on
help
Amazon
they
if
can
I'm not
get.
mistaken. Yeah.
Oh, Amazon would love to welcome us back the same way Target would. But that's a whole other story.
Right.
Y'all still watching Tubi? You need to be smacked. That's all I gotta say.
For real.
Oh man. Oh.
They lure you in with some classics,
too.
that's for sure.
I was gonna say Tubi got the cartoons and shit too,
And
man.
that's how they get
I'll go to YouTube first before I go to Tubi. Okay?
They lure you in with classics. You're like, oh, sucked it.
Right.
Oh,
Yep.
Sanford and Son.
Right. Check
it's
out Internet Archive though. Internet Archive, you can get most of that stuff and download it because I got a ton of them now.
Oh yeah, that's how I found my samurai troopers.
Man,
Right, same.
I go to YouTube. I can get a block of Toonami for 4 hours, and all I got to do is just sit there and just watch 4 hours in a video.
Right.
So here's I know I don't hear people talk about Jamie Foxx and Day Shift.
Underrated.
Yeah,
I like Day Shift so much, but I think that they screwed up on the lore aspect. Like this, no, sorry, the last third, right?
Yeah,
Like the first 2/3 of the movie were like good, and then you get to that last third where it's like this crazy Machiavellian plot that comes out of nowhere that's about real estate with the white chick, and I was like, what the hell is happening?
That was
is this? I'm like, is this the plot from the original Superman? What is going on?
It's when you have folks again with Day Shift, how it started, awesome. You're telling a different vampire story. It's like you felt like you need to add a little extra at the end. You didn't need to add extra at the end. Just stick with what brought us to the dance. That was fine.
Right.
Can we talk
Snoop's
about
character was dope. Jamie's character, how they was throwing them vampires against the wall and all them contortionists and all that. Man, that shit was dope. And even the lore of like, hey, we got slayers and we got watchers and we got zombies. We got all this stuff happening.
You had a Men in Black. You had a Men in Black style conglomerate of like this is your job.
Yeah,
it's a job. You get paid by snatching out teeth. This is like you're a bounty hunter.
The only gripe I had is why did y'all name him Bud Jablonski? Why did you name a black man Bud Jablonski? Bruh, you mean to tell me y'all didn't have enough time in that writer's room to come up with a better name than Bud Jablonski?
Let's be honest. There was nobody in the writer's room.
Oh, you already know this.
Nobody in the writer's room.
You know, we're going to be niche about it.
Jamie
you know what?
King again. You know
who auditioned for the role? Jamie Foxx. But the character's name is Bud Jablonski. How are we going to fix that?
I mean, you could give him anything else, but I'm like, dang, even Black Dynamite had Afrocentric names. God dang.
Right.
Oh my God. There is another one. There's Vampires in the Bronx.
Yo.
There's that.
Oh, that was good too.
Yeah. That's another one.
Did not see that one.
Yeah, that's another. I want to say is that one. I want to say is that Prime?
That's Netflix.
Netflix. Okay.
Netflix. Yeah.
That one was good. That was like Goonies meets Fresh meets vampires. You know what I mean? Like, it had our elements to it. You know?
Oh wow.
Here's another one, and she's not even in it long, and it's an older one. She's not even in it long. Grace Jones.
Oh man!
Yes! Yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember that.
It took me a while. Holy crap!
Yo,
I forgot you played a vampire in Iconic with it, man.
I totally forgot about Vamp.
I told y'all. It's like we've been around all this time.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. Maybe name a vampire of Black Parent vampire film that kind of stands out for you.
I said before, and I say it again. Blackula.
Blackula always is go to.
Blackula, 1973.
Yeah, that's the standard one.
That movie it wasn't cheesy. He wasn't made to be a comical character. He was legit of royal blood and happened to come over here on a mission. And I'm telling y'all, there was, it was the 70s. Yeah, you had the stuff that would now make most people cringe, but it was part of the story, and he was taken seriously as a character.
Right.
Loved it. I again, one of those movies as a kid that I could watch over. It's like, okay, I see me in that character. I see me in a horror character. Nothing against anything else horror-wise, but when was the last time we actually had a black horror character that was respected?
There you go.
I'll wait.
You'll be a while.
So
Yeah.
I'll say we got
You'll be a while.
do we have Candyman now? I feel like Candyman is up there now.
Yes.
Yeah, now
He's up there now.
Yeah,
Like
Mr.
now,
Todd,
but
yeah,
yeah,
Mr. Todd
before that,
cinematic,
but like you know,
As a matter of fact, he's the one that's just like, no, we know why he's doing what he's doing, so we don't mess with him. That's
Right.
like,
True.
Candyman was only scary if you mess with him.
yeah.
right,
Outside of that,
right.
outside of that, what we learned from the first movie: don't go saying his name 3 times. Don't go mess with this man. He won't mess with you.
Don't summon him. You ain't got no issues.
Right. That's it.
Okay,
Oh, that's
cool.
just such and such. We don't mess with it. It's like that one cousin that come to the cookout. Yeah, we don't mess with him.
It's like seeing a Ouija board at a party. Let's go talk to the dead. Let's not.
No. How about no?
I'm out.
right.
It's like going camping in the middle of the woods. No, we have civilization. Why do I need to go out in the middle of the woods? What am I proving? Nah.
Brian, what's a black vampire or show, film, or character that kind of stands out for you?
I mean, I'm taking the easy way, but I loved it so much and I watched it so many times that I gotta say Sinners, man.
God.
Yes, sir.
Just
Yes, sir.
the way it treated every piece of itself, right? In terms of how it treated, how it talked about music, how it talked about religion, Christianity, and how it talked about black culture, how it talked about vampires, how it talked just every piece of that movie was outstanding. And I'm gonna say it, and I don't care. Haley Stanfield can go on that list of like, if I got turned and she was in the room, I don't want nobody looking at me crazy. Now, I'm not saying I'm running after her or nothing, but what I am saying is if I got bit, don't look like, how did you get bit, Brian?
We would
Like, I understand.
Bro,
I understand.
did you like, look, bro, come on, man. She was on me and she was slobbering. What did you think I was going to do?
Although I ain't gonna lie, in the middle of that scene, honey, you drooling.
Right.
I would have been like,
it was nasty.
I was like, bro, you didn't
But,
you, like.
It made it. It's that meme of that woman who makes that face like.
right.
But you got a point about Sinners. It's just like from the music to the setup to literally, I mean, you throw humor in bits and pieces, but man, there was so many bits of truth and story being woven in. It was really a love letter to Lovecraft Country, because Lovecraft Country was doing the same thing. They wove in a little bit of truth, but you got humor and action, things of that nature. And again, what the same way with I'm losing words. It's pretty much telling the story of how, again, towns in Mississippi, you had this side, and going from there. So I completely agree. Sinners is one of those movies that's just, I mean, Mr. Coulter, I mean, man, knocked out the park and then some. I mean, you could play that every Halloween, it still will have a packed house.
That would be Jamie Lawson, and she played Pearlie.
Yeah, and I also think that how it dealt with African spirituality, and again, this is not like, it's not necessarily an emerging thing, but I think it's getting more media attention now. How it dealt with that, and not in a way to say that it's immediately evil and it's the bad thing and it's the wrong thing, right? I think that just taking that and giving that the care that it deserves, whether or not you agree, whether or not you believe, whatever, that's not of import. I think just dealing with it in a different fashion and not automatically making something that's black taboo was amazing. Right. I think that was just
agreed.
Dope.
Yeah, I want to stay here with Sinners for a second, because if Blackula set the standard, Sinners raised the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
That's exactly like Blackula set the standard. Sinners raised the bar. On culture, on music, on mythos, on representation. It went above and beyond. And it's one of my favorite horror films to literally watch now, because I'm like, this is so much better for so many reasons.
But it was a layered story, but at the same time, it was a simple story. If you really think about it, it was layered, but it was simple. But at the same time, you had the music aspect where it's like, yeah, the blues came from us. The blues I mean, from those steel pine guitars, which a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's the reason why. Yes, he tells a story. I mean, it's again, everybody's like, oh, so it's loosely based off. No, it's not loosely based off him. Although
people love using loosely based.
I know they always say that, but I'm like, if you believe the Crossroads story, that's up to you. He never confirmed it. He never confirmed it or not the Crossroads story. But the fact that you sat there and you gave an aspect to it, and at the same time, the prison scene is what got me. Where Delroy Lindo's character was they were passing by the chain gang, and he sat there and said, "Y'all keep y'all heads high, y'all keep y'all chests high. Don't let that get you down." And then the whole, and
that story he gives, which we found out later was ad-libbed.
Yeah,
ad-lib. Yes.
Oh, and I'm like, we acting out here. Give it to me.
You letting that natural talent come out. You're not trying to keep it just stringent to the script and keep it strictly to the dialogue. No, some of the best moments in movies have not been scripted.
Right.
And most people swear up and down they weren't scripted.
But at the same time, though, between Delroy Lindo's character and Michael B. Jordan, I will give that man credit for literally showing two sides, because the way he played that role, I will give him that. And also to I forgot her name that freaking fast. Damn, what is her name? The leading lady at the time, because they showed did not show
Wunmi Masaka.
Yeah, thank you. They did not show. And my apologies, ma'am. I did not mean to forget your name, because you definitely were not forgettable in the movie. But you showed a natural, full-figured woman, and you let her lead as you should. Not
looking fine as hell.
Yes,
she looked good in Lovecraft Country, and then they put her in this movie.
Yeah,
Woo! Beautiful.
I mean, it was, and I still mad about Cornbread, because ain't no way.
It don't take that long to take a piss. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not. You were in Mississippi in the dark, in the woods, and you go how far away from the building?
You could have went right around the corner out of eye shot.
You could have went behind
by the barn.
Right.
You didn't have to go deep in no woods for anything.
Grab a bucket and go back inside somewhere, man. Keep your ass in.
He's gonna get caught up anyway. Like, let's be real. He was the moment he stepped foot outside, it was a wrap. I was like, you know what?
I was so mad about that. Like, bruh, you the biggest thing out there. You just because you're the biggest thing out there just means you're just a bigger target.
Even Delroy Lindo's character, who was drunk, was like, hey, he's been gone too long. This ain't. I ain't even supposed to be watching the door right now.
And then you hear one whisper, and he just go, and he's like, I'd have been like, nope.
He stopped, and I was just like, I'm sitting there like, I'm like, dude, you stopped midstream. You just
those kidneys have been like, nope. Let's go.
What I loved about Sinners is the fact that they kept the element of horror without focusing on gore. How many times have we seen movies they use the whole gore device because they want to keep your attention, because the story is so weak you can't keep anyone invested.
Right.
Sinner said, nah, we're gonna do this right. Yeah, there'll be a little bit of violence, some blood, a little bit of gore, but that's not what you should be focusing on. Focus on these characters and how they got here, and why they got here, and all the lore and the storytelling and the character development. That is what made this such a beautiful masterpiece to me.
Also, give me the payoff of killing a bunch of Klansmen at the end.
Very
sir. I watch that every single time. We put that on replay.
Seen that movie 3 times in the theater. Yes. Seen that movie 3 times in the theater. Applauded every single time. I'm
right.
Was he not at the ready where he sat there and said, this man said, don't tell me. Here's how I knew that the trunk must have played a major role, because how did the white girl, did you bring the trunk? Of course we brought the trunk. Oh Lord.
Barry said,
Like,
we don't need the trunk.
Right.
Barry
Right.
said, we don't need the trunk.
Trump.
Let's calm down. Like,
Oh, you hear? Of
Right.
course, we brought the trunk. Fuck. Okay. Yeah. This is...
Barry knew what the trunk was. She was like, you don't need the trunk. I got this. Like, you know,
And I
like,
appreciated how
what's in the trunk?
You know, I appreciate how the movie ended. I really appreciated how they brought that story to the close that it came to, because how many times we seen movies where there has to be a cliffhanger and what happened to so and so, and there's no resolution, or the resolution they have is so weak, nobody wants to revisit this.
Right.
But they said, here is class. Here is a story that comes to an end beautifully.
We all clapped when the KKK got.
Right?
We all clapped.
Loved every moment of it. And then when the last one, he thought he would just let me go, and then he shot him a bunch of times. I was thinking, do that.
But he kept his word. I mean, hey, Smoke kept his word. You come
Malika.
on my property.
You come back.
Y'all come on my property. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Malika, stop that, man. Stop that. Stop it, bro.
That part.
Found that button. That's the first thing I said.
The wrong audience. These jokers still don't know where that button is. So don't. We don't have that
I
conversation.
blame Stack for that. Stack was questionable as all get out. Just like
That was a very cousin moment. He was just like, listen at the door. He heard. He's like, found that button.
Yo, I'm good.
but I will also say this to the guy again Remick. There we go. Couldn't think of his name. Jack O'Connell, who played him.
Yes, man.
You literally. I love the fact that a lot of people are missing where he again the realism out where again you saw Miles Kevin's character was praying at the end, and he was basically reciting line for line. He says, and I love that part where he goes, I used to say that too, because those same words were taught to me when they said would give me comfort, when they came for me too. And I love how a lot of people want to say, when I was in the movie theaters watching it, you heard this collective, no, they didn't. I said, yeah.
Right.
I just sat there and said, welcome to your history lesson. You didn't think you were going to get one movie, didn't worry. But no. I like I said, Sinners is one of those. It's really one of those mainstays that are just along with Blackula, along with Vampire in Brooklyn, along with Queen of the Damned. I just love the fact that we actually now have another movie that is literally for us in a genre where there's not a lot of our movies there.
And we're red shirts.
That's what I love about that.
Right. And it's an undeniable one too. It's not a B movie. It's not a where they can say it's an also ran like this. No. It is an epic film, and there's nothing you can say otherwise.
That part.
This is literally one of these films where, and this is very rare for like people who are film goers or into cinema. This is one of those films. Sinners is one of those films where you don't want a sequel.
That
you don't want to
that beginning, middle, and end. That's it.
Tell this story. Leave it open ended. I don't care, but leave it here.
Yeah, because
you don't have to add.
You don't need to know anymore.
You can let your mind run, of course, but you don't want more.
But what? And someone trying to sit there and say, "Well, they should write a sequel." Where are you going to go? Because again, we know 2 people survived. We also know that Smoke and Stack had an agreement about their cousin. Like, look, because I'll be honest, Stack wasn't supposed to be here. If Stack wasn't supposed to be here unless he sat there and told Smoke, like, look, I'm not taking you out. You will watch him for the rest of your days. Cool.
Right.
And
what else do you need?
Right. And at the same time, it doesn't need the extra. Like, some movies just need to be a one shot. Need to be a one shot and be done with it. You don't need, because if you try to go back and do a Sinners 2, you kind of crap on the first one. Because where do you go? Because where do you go with a sequel like that anyway? There's no room. It's like saying, it's like LeBron James going back for another ring. Sir, you've accomplished what you got to do. Bow out gracefully.
Right.
Sorry for your LeBron fans, but it's true.
No, it's
true.
This movie just creates those types of conversations that it's necessary, because when you are really ingrained in the culture when you're born of the culture and you see things from sharecroppers and from just the stuff. I'm like, man, it's taking place in the 1930s, and you're like, but you see it, you feel it,
that part,
you understand it. The conversations that's being had, the elements that are being shown, the way this thing has been shot, the music element. I'm like, this dude didn't miss.
I lied to you.
Miss.
I lied to you. Dang.
Right. Kill.
Yeah, cornbread was getting it though when he got that dance going.
I was tripping on the fact and to hear a bluegrass guitar like that, there's a history behind that too. I love that he did put a spotlight on that. That type of music with that type of guitar and that sound, and the fact that our people have such a rich history to that.
Tied
the man did his homework.
Tied it together. But I'm trying to think. There's Ganja and Hess is another vampire film.
Yep.
Oh, I've never seen that.
You never heard of that?
It's different.
It's 70s. That's a 70s horror film, black horror film. Black doctor goes to an island, and they have rituals going there. In terms of he becomes a vampire through a spear.
Yep.
He was poked with a spear, and he becomes vampiric. They actually did. I think it was Spike Lee did a remake. I'm trying to think. I cannot think of the name of it, but Spike Lee did something like that. Just maybe
the Sweet Blood of Jesus.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that
Sweet Blood of Jesus.
Yeah, 2014 Sweet Blood Jesus.
Yeah,
I had to think about that one for a second. Yeah, but that's what that is.
There's quite a few. The latest Interview with the Vampire television series.
Oh, that guy's name. What's his face? Who's the actor that played Lestat?
Hold on.
I know it's a unique name. I apologize. I don't want to destroy his name.
Let me see if I can find it because I know I was just. Wait, Louis Dupont Dulac. That's what it is. That's who it is. So that's the character, and which I'm finishing off the first season, and I'm like, yeah, this is good. But
yeah, that was when he was in they're set up in New Orleans with his, so that's right around a lot of upper class society, him trying to come back and I was watching that too. I got caught up into it. I didn't finish it, but again, like you said, it's different, but at the same time you can tell like we've been saying, a lot of care has been taken into each of these movies and television shows. And you can tell because we don't want to show off, and again to piggyback off what Raven said. What the Reverend said, we don't want gore. There's no need for gore. Vampires,
precisely.
There's no need for gore in vampirism. Vampirism is more, it's more mind seducing than it is physical mutilation. Yeah, psychological. Thank you. So, we don't need the whole, head gets taken off or claws decapitate somebody. We don't need that. I mean, it worked in Castlevania. That's fine, but that's an anime. It's not a movie.
Right.
But no, it's just like again in Castlevania, we had a female vampire, which again, she wasn't overall menacing, but if you pushed her, you got that point. But again, it's just I'm just saying this as it's just the approach they've taken to how black vampires in movies and television and anime, how they're presented. And they're always presented, and I love this. I have yet to still find one where I didn't like it. You can tell that it's written with care because they're presented with style, they're presented with flair, poise, mannerisms. At the same time, there's that underlying threat of, if you push me, I will end you. But
sidebar, I needed more Mr. Trick from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm just saying. I'm like, I'm liking his vibe, but y'all playing him right now. Y'all nerfing him a little bit.
But look who the writer was. You look
Exactly.
Your boy Whedon, and it took a while for us to figure it out. But
like you played us with Kendra, and then you turn around with Mr. Trick.
Look, it's no worse than Sterling K. Brown in Supernatural, where he was a hunter and he got turned.
Yes.
Yeah.
People forget he was in Supernatural. He was a rival hunter that got turned, and he adapted quite quickly, actually.
I was gonna say, can we count Bones? Although, because I'm just a Bianca Lawson fan, so can we count Bones? Even though Snoop Dogg's acting was utterly horrible.
Wasn't he like a demon? Was he a vampire in that?
He was a resurrected gangster.
He was a resurrected gangster, but he wasn't. Well, it was like more like a demon spirit, but he wasn't a vampire.
Yeah.
Although he had fangs for no reason.
On the same end, I'll count Bianca Lawson because she's Bianca Lawson. So I'm with you.
So
I just wanted the technicality. I just wanted to know, but I'm with you. Let's count her.
I
think she is actually a vampire because she ain't aged at all.
Yeah. They said, she was like 20 and I'm like, 20? When?
Between her, Angela Bassett, and there was another one. I'm sorry.
When Angela Bassett played a vampire in the season of American Horror Story Hotel, I literally was like, makes sense. I see it. It's fine.
No disrespect to the Queen Mother, but ma'am, you have a regiment.
That's another one. Don't ask me no. That's another one. Don't ask me no questions. When you see me turn, don't ask me no. Don't ask
that
me no.
That meme where it's Will Smith doing like this, the pose.
Right.
How could you let this happen?
I'm just saying.
Right.
But no. But yeah, it's if you really think about it, it's just these, especially around the horror side, we are getting a lot more movies. Not just vampire in general, but I mean, look at Us, or look at Get Out, or look at. I haven't seen Him yet. I want to see Him. I don't know if Him is more psychological than anything else, but
it looks like it. It looks.
Yeah,
like
I'm still wanting to go see that.
Yeah.
But you can tell that the horror aspect is being expanded on, and I love that it's being expanded on. And it's not just your A to B. We summoned him. We knocked this over. We broke this. We went to a place we weren't supposed to go to. It's so different in how each of these stories are being shown that it makes you want to go see it just off the narration alone.
I agree.
I remember when that Us trailer dropped, and it had the just the music.
Yeah,
bro, that was the creepiest, twist on. I got 5 on it. Like, again, I love that our horror stories are being told like Us as well. Like, it's not like, oh, hey, don't go touch that Ouija board, and then somebody does, and then they summon a demon. Like, because Black folks don't do that.
Right.
So they have to find new ways for us to be entrapped in these things that would make sense with our personalities, which I love that they're taking the time to do that. Right? Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So it makes for better stories.
Yeah,
I want anybody who's listening or watching right now, if you can find it, go back and watch Night of the Demon.
Your boy broke out.
Roger wasn't nothing to play with. Like, even then he said, they in the haunted house, this brother said, my father's a preacher. We don't do this.
Roger showed,
we need to get out.
Roger showed exactly what you should do in a horror movie. And you notice that no demon can outrun him.
No, right. My man dove through a plate glass window. He was climbing over a wall with barbed wire. The little white girl was just like, it hurts. He was like, I'm leaving. I don't care. I'll heal. I'm leaving now.
Right.
I still laugh. Roger, where you going? You on your own, bitch?
He said, she was like, Roger, you ain't gonna get me. He just dived right through the window. Said, that fits.
Wow,
that fits. Oh man,
but whoever got do or die to sit there and say, hey, we want to take I Got 5 on it and we want to put a horror spin on it. How did you convince them? That's my question.
I got a better one. How many times people will look at the clock and it says 11:11 and you stop?
Man.
Look, like I said, we were out of town this weekend. I seen 3 logging trucks. Thank God they were on the opposite side of the freeway. 5
Destination.
And I just shook my every time, just shook my head.
Yo, I'm done.
Final Destination made us so. Final Destination turned us into better drivers. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
You won't go nowhere near or behind a log truck since that movie came out.
Right.
Now
you know what? I thought about Death by Temptation. Only difference is she's more of a succubus.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, that was still a good movie. I think it was another Kadeem Hardison movie, actually.
It is. Yeah, that was like during his fame during
that was
Different World.
Yeah. Different World, right? Yeah.
So Brian J. Lambert, brother, this has been great.
It's been a blast.
It's been fun.
Man, I appreciate y'all so much, man. I really do. I just love being able to commune with some like-minded folks in general. But y'all are hilarious, man. And I just, I appreciate y'all even just having me on here and talking about my comics and comics in general and let me rant my bull. You know what I mean? I appreciate it.
Look, this is what we do here. We consider people family. For one, thank you for including us and joining up with Blerd Station for our Air Force One.
Yes.
And Grace, that's going to be freaking fire.
That's gonna be off the chain for real.
We are working. I can't wait till our next. We got some things happening in early. Do we have a minute to where I can give a little quick sneak peek?
Please.
So I can't show anything right now, but in early 2026, we are going to debut. Myself and Jason Reeves, we're debuting a project together. We are doing a trading card game, and imagine, if you will, a world where Street Ball meets Pokemon.
Oh shit!
Say less. I'm invested.
So
let's go.
So again, we're gonna have that. We're gonna start putting out some materials in November. We're gonna release it in February. And then that's gonna lead to everything else, man. That's gonna lead to all the stuff that we see with our 2026 release of Volume 2 of Air Force Ones, and some more animated material. And this time, the next set of animated material is actually gonna be anime. I realize, and I've had people make the little jokes and stuff. The animation, the first animation we did, is not anime inspired, art style wise. But again, that's just somebody, man, I really wanted to work with that animator. He was dope, and he's still dope. But as we do our next set of animation, we're already talking to Spoof Animation and a couple other animation studios.
Nice.
And we're going fully into the anime field. And 2026 is gonna be something special. So again, Blerd's Eyeview, first people to hear about our new project and our new trading card game called Who's Got Next.
Nice.
And again, like I said, it's going to be Street Ball meets Pokemon. It's going to be something like you've never seen it. It's going to be dope.
I'm invested.
Right.
Let's go.
The minute you mentioned Pokemon, now Davy's ear said, present and accounted for.
As soon as you said trading card games, I'm like, let's go. Okay, let's go.
Yes. Oh man, Brian, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find us at Wingless Comics on everything social. Well, not on Twitter or X or whatever it's called these days. Y'all know why.
Dark place.
But you can find us You can find us on Instagram under Wingless Comics. You can find us on Facebook as Wingless Comics. You can find us on TikTok as Wingless Comics. We are also online on our website direct at www.winglessent.com. You can get everything and all our information there. Again, much more to come in 2026. You're going to see the release of her #2. You're going to see Avery #2. You're going to see Volume 2 of Air Force Ones. You're going to see the trading card game Who's Got Next, and a few more surprises. We are coming out the gate hot in 2026. Nice. That is a promise.
Ooh, I'm here for it.
I hear holsters being reloaded right now.
Right.
Man, in February, you were going to see how right and close to the mark you are, sir. I got something special. I got a couple other special things.
You know what? When those drop, please bring them by the ship. We will gladly have you on.
Please and thank you.
Definitely, gentlemen.
Spartan, talk to the people.
Yes. Black_Spartan 615 is where you usually can find me. Shows are still going on, folks. We are covering everything crazy in the world, especially when it comes to Taco and his regime, the man in the high castle, the man in the high castle discovered McDonald's. How the fact we got here every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Of course, myself, Tafari Joe, we do cover the news in the world of video games, anime, manga, wrestling, you name it. Get Bit every Friday, 8:30-ish. Shows can be found where they're usually found on all aspects of the internet. Still doing the streaming thing. Still trying to finish Silk Song, but being a dad, gotta make sure everybody's taken care of. So the gaming streams will pick back up on Saturday, because why? I have exactly 2 weeks left before Ninja Gaiden 4 comes out, and that's gonna pretty much encompass my life. So I need to get that. I'm trying to get one game knocked out of the way before I get the other one. So again, Black_Spartan615 on Twitch and on YouTube. At the same time, guys, the rules still do apply because con's still going on. Respect the cosplayer. Cosplay is not consent. Please treat people like human beings. Number 2, wash your ass. It's flu season. Flu season's around the corner. Clean clothes, clean underwear. I know you're seeing this clean thing going through cons. That is not cute, because they have to do this because some of y'all really don't believe in soap, water, hygiene, or good decisions. So please wash your ass. Clean clothes will be always welcome. And again, the last thing I have for myself, as I have for everybody else. In a world that is cruel, that is kind, that is unkind, be nice, be kind, talk, share, and discuss your fandoms. Don't be a dick, and you won't get jumped.
I love how it changes every week.
There it is. Maybe Montel, my guy, what's going on? Talk to the people.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Blerds of all ages, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It is I, Navy Montel, your frosty bearded blurcorn here with the crew, with this amazing creator, Mr. Brian Lambert here doing his thing. Y'all go show this man love. Go support him. He is part of a cornucopia of culture and creation that cannot be denied. Please go show that support. If you want to know what I'm up to, I'm with this illustrious crew, usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm also with Lady Mandalore, a room full of Blerds every Sunday at 7. We talk about independent comics. We bring on the creators. We have a good time. We just all types of stuff and fun like that. Myself, Blerdcorn Combos are back. I'm getting my guests lined up. Please come and show that love. I'm getting back on my random Instagram where I'll pop in because I got something to say. And now that I am on YouTube, I've been still on YouTube and be more active. Y'all are in trouble. Okay, so come on, be a part of the conversation. And I stream on Sundays. I am currently going back to Diablo 3. Why? Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. And I'm using a Lady Barbarian, and she is just running roughshod. We're going to chat. We're going to talk. We're going to have all the funs. And I will say this before I'm passed on to the illustrious captain. Find your safe space. In a world where chaos is starting to become the norm, which it shouldn't be, find your safe space, whether it's at home with someone close to you, a hobby, reading a book, going and sitting at the park, maybe taking a drive. Find your safe space, because your mental health is your number one precious commodity that you give up to anyone or anything for any reason. Find your safe space. Please. We need to keep y'all around. The Saints are going home. They don't need to be going home younger than 40 or 30. Okay. Find your safe space. If you need someone to talk to, find me if you need to. I'll be there.
Same here. If you haven't followed Blerd Station on Instagram, please do, because this weekend, Saturday, as a matter of fact, we have our very first fireside chat with a voice actor. The series will be called Unmuted. You'll have your answers question, or some of your questions answered, talking about how to get into the voice industry, voice acting industry, and things of the substance. I believe that will be at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, or 8. I think it's 8.
It's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Yes. So go to the Blerd Station Instagram page. Go check it out. Lady Mandalore will be the host.
Yeah.
And you will see some great stuff going on. Also, you can check us out every Tuesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, YouTube, Twitch, and you can watch past episodes on Always Press Record Television through your Roku and Amazon Fire devices. Mouthful when you have a little congestion going on, but that's okay. I got my ginger. I got my ginger and turmeric tea is doing his job right now. I'm just stuffy. Everything else is good. But other than that, thank you to our guest Brian J. Lambert. This has been amazing. These are always fun to talk to, like creatives who are really doing their thing. So thank
absolutely.
you please come back to when you start talking about when 2026 ramps up, because the people got an exclusive.
Right.
We do exclusive.
Yes, sir. I always have one for y'all. I
So-
always have one for y'all. So we on.
appreciate you stopping through. Thank you to the crew.
Mhm.
Thank you to everybody in the chats, man. Everybody's in the chats. Thank you to Mal, who out there made his donation. Thank you. Be sure to hit your donation. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe, that notification bell on the YouTube channel. Be sure to, if you're watching on Twitch, go over there. Yeah, we're not trying to hit millions of streamers on Twitch, because I don't have streaming time right now. I don't have time.
Facts.
Right.
I don't have time.
Right.
I got adult stuff to do. I hate it. But
And look, until that lottery check clears, we got to do work.
yeah, I got work, man. I got work.
But no discounts.
But tune in next Tuesday. We will be talking about some more nerdy stuff. We'll be doing some more horror stuff. We'll probably be talking about some other. I'm thinking about doing Final Girls again. We got time. I got to go back to the Final Girls round 2. So be sure to come back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We will be here. Remember to educate yourself and others, entertain yourself and others, and most of all, encourage yourself and others. I'm Chris Fury with our guest, Brian J. Lambert, over on this side.
Yeah.
Sir.
My guys, Navy Montel and Black Spartan. Check us out on all the socials. Show your support. And until then, we will see you guys next time. We're out.
Bye.